Hey, and welcome to our new Dexter Resurrection video. And in this particular discussion, we want to talk about a big bad for a moment here. And in particular, this is Leon Prater, who you have seen in the trailer already, who is played by none other than Peter Dinklage.
Oh, you know what? I don't care how bad he's gonna be. I love him so much. Like, he can play bad so well. We've seen that in other roles that he's been part of. But just this idea that he's gonna be kind of this billionaire, venture capitalist who's like generous and philanthropist and he's all polished and everything's amazing about him, but he's got this dark side just like Mr. Beast. I'm just
Oh,
kidding. I'm just kidding. But that there is like two sides to him already that we've kind of seen, that he's this great guy. Yeah, he's the nice billionaire that's gonna give away his money to all these wonderful things, goodwill. But behind the scenes, I mean, he's doing terrible things. He's bringing together all these killers in a network because he likes to buy weird, dark things that, no one else can buy as billionaires do.
I'm still not over the Mr. Beast.
Sorry, Jimmy. Sorry, Jimmy.
Jimmy's next video. I've locked 20 serial killers in a box for 20 hours to raise money for Charity X. No, but I'm really excited to see what Dinklage brings to this role. I mean, he is a very dynamic actor, and it feels like, based on what we know right now, this is very much Dexter kind of going back a little bit to its roots of somebody who has a very specific sort of public perception, but a very different private perception. Like, this is something that was a little bit there with Trinity. I mean, Miguel Prado is probably the best example out of anyone when it comes to this. So there's elements of that, but then of course, this show has evolved a lot since then. And this is somebody who, kind of as you laid out, has particular interests in mind when it comes to killers that make him certainly weird.
Well, that's the thing too, right? If you've got billions of dollars, you're a billionaire, you've bought everything, all your cars, your houses, anything you want. This is where, the billionaires of the world are in a different spot, where it's like, once you've bought everything and you have more money than God, where do you start to go with that when you feel like you are kind of a god? Do you start actually buying killers? I mean, that seemingly is where he is, where he's investing in a group of killers for himself.
Yeah, it's really odd. We're going to try to understand that. We're going to also share everything we know about this character. But before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button because, yeah, we're going to be here talking Dexter Resurrection all summer long in a number of different ways. During the season, we're going to have 3 videos a week. Reviews, previews, theories, all sorts of good stuff, and we 100% do not want you missing out on this coverage.
Absolutely. And we're going to have more preseason coverage here as well. So hit that subscribe button, stick with us. And if you're looking for another show that's also bringing together a network of killers, Criminal Minds Evolution is on right now. And we are covering that over on our Patreon along with Murderbot, which is airing on Apple TV Plus. It's the only place that you can get those weekly reviews. So I'll leave a link for you in the description if you want to check that out. It also really helps support us here at the channel.
Thank you guys. We very, very much appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we see briefly in the trailer, just to kind of get a little bit more of a profile of Leon here, that he's got his head of security, who is Charlie, played by Uma Thurman. She refers to him as the man of the manor, which just makes this feel a little bit like, I don't know, is this a Batman villain? Like, what's going on here?
Well, I mean, kind of. He's bringing together a whole group of killers, but the motivation behind it is what I'm the most interested in, because they say that he has a taste for killers. So that tells me that this is less about him bringing in, say, an assassin to be able to be like, I don't like my competition, go take them out, sort of thing. I'm hiring you to do a job. It feels more like this is his plaything of what he's putting his money into. Oh, I'm really interested in killers and people who do this more than once, that this is what they have a taste in. So I'm interested in having these people around. But how do I have these people around where they won't turn on me and kill me? Money.
there's a lot that's bizarre about this guy that this show is going to have to work really hard in order to explain. Number one, yeah, the financial aspect of this. Like, how can you make sure they don't turn on you? But then also, how are you finding all of these people in the first place? Because based at least on what we've seen in the trailer and some other stuff for Dexter Resurrection so far, it doesn't seem like Dexter Morgan is in New York City because of Prater. It seems like he just happens to be there and maybe he gets brought in to that extent. But it feels like a lot of these other new people who we talked about in our previous video, Neil Patrick Harris, David Desmalchin, like all these people aren't from New York and they're just kind of brought in somewhere else. It's like, how do you invite killers to your secret lair, carrier pigeon connections? It just feels like it's a bizarre sort of network to have around you.
Yeah, it's got to be money. I think Charlie's going to be playing a role in that. I mean, she's like this sort of head of security. So my guess is she's also a killer. And that's probably where this all started for Leon, where he was just like, oh, it's really interesting and cool having a killer around me. I want more of this. Who else do you know? Who else can you find? And I think that besides security, she's probably got her hands in a bit of spycraft to be able to figure out who's who and bring them into the circle. But my biggest tinfoil hat is
Yeah.
if Leon wants to be around killers and he's collecting killers like
Mhm.
they're trading cards, is he someone that's also a killer or is he someone that just wants them around him? Because if he's not a killer and he's got security around him to protect him from these killers and whoever else, like why would he think that his one security person is going to be able to keep him safe from like five other killers that are going to be in the room with him? It feels like he either wants to be a killer himself but hasn't gotten to that point yet and is bringing these people in to be like, okay, teach me what you know. I'll
Yeah.
put the money in. I want to go out with Dexter for a night. I want to go out with this person for a night. Like, you gotta, or bring them back here and show me what you got. It feels a bit kind of Squid Game in that way.
Okay, I think that there's a lot of something to that because I think it's really interesting in a lot of ways that even though rich people have a lot of money, they're never really satisfied with this.
Right.
Weird segue time. Over on the Real Housewives, you always have a couple of housewives a season that are like, I'm suddenly a singer now, and they're gonna go put out some like terrible album
Right.
of just some, but they convince themselves I'm a singer. Maybe they get a vocal coach, they get a couple of people around them, and they start to try to get people to refer to them as a singer. It's just like maybe he,
Like Erica Jane.
okay, like maybe he
Listen,
really.
I really like her music. I can't deny
Okay,
it.
Erica Jane is the best example of this. There are a lot of really bad examples of this, but maybe Leon just wants to be one of them. He wants to surround himself so he can feel like he's a part of something. Because being, a billionaire can also be pretty isolating because there's really not a lot of people who relate to you. There's not a lot of people who understand you. A lot of people just hate you from the very vantage point of, okay, you have a lot of money and you're successful. And how did you get that money? Are your hands clean even from doing that? So it might be that he just wants to fit in with people who he feels some sort of like inner connection to.
Well, here's the other thing. He's a billionaire, so he might also have fame around him as well. If he's been doing all these things, and he's a billionaire, if he has fame around him and he's like, oh man, I've always wanted to do this. Now I have the money. I can probably get away with this. But because there's maybe a little bit of fame that's also following him around, he may not be able to really get around this because there's always eyeballs on him. So if he's able to kind of bring in other killers to either train him or do it for him in front of him, maybe he's just more of someone who likes to watch.
Yeah, and I think what's going to be interesting as we like to watch Leon over the course of the season is what's the long-term end game here? Because if you've watched Dexter forever, whether it's Original Sin or the original show, it's this instance where a lot of these big bads just come in, last for a season, and are gone. And Deadline did say that Dinklage is the big baddie this season. However, and we talked about this in the other video of this USA Today report where, showrunner Clyde Phillips talked about how some of these other villains that Leon's bringing in, like they may be around for multiple seasons, like they may be introduced here and paid off. It's like, could we see something different where Peter actually kind of does stick around longer than a season here.
I feel like he's going to end up getting killed by these killers because one of the things that they brought up is that Prater likes to own things, including killers. And killers are not going to want to be owned by anybody. Eventually, that's all going to fall apart. I mean, killers are all very different and unpredictable in that way. Money is only going to buy you so much grace before they're kind of like, you know what? I'm kind of done with this. Like, I've gotten what I want out of this. I'm done being this plaything. I don't want to be owned by anybody. So, see you later.
Okay, I'm just gonna put on a sad tinfoil hat here for a moment.
Oh,
This is a particular, yeah, this one maybe is a little bit rusted in one corner or something like that. But no, I agree with you. There's a very good chance that that's how he's gonna end up going, and I also think that this probably is a one season role for Peter Dinklage, and I think it comes down to why he wanted to do this show in the first place, because Peter Dinklage doesn't have to do TV. He can do a movie. He doesn't really have to do anything anymore,
I
really, if we're
know.
being honest. Like, I know he got paid a lot for the later seasons of Game of Thrones, and I'm sure they gave him a lot of money to do this. But I think beyond that, what probably made Leon attractive to him, beyond just, getting to work with Michael C. Hall on an iconic franchise, like, I'm sure that helped, was that it probably was not a long-term commitment for him, so he could do other things. And they're also filming in New York, and Peter lives in New York. He's a part of that life. So it's like, oh, I don't have to go to Europe or some
Yeah.
other place for months, and I can just sort of, I don't know, sleep at my home. Yeah, sure. Sign me up for a year.
Oh, for sure. You're filming in the same place that you're living. You can go home at night to your own place. That's amazing. That's something that like rarely happens for actors. Like, yeah, he doesn't have to really do anything anymore. I think he acts because he really enjoys it. But having the opportunity to be part of Dexter, I mean, it is one of the most iconic franchises
Yeah.
in the world. I mean, we even saw Sarah Michelle Gellar, who's a huge fan of it, just be like, I'll do anything, man. I'll be on screen for 5 minutes every week with no real storyline. I don't care. Put me in, coach. Like, everybody wants to be part of a show like Dexter.
It's true. It's true. That really is the only other explanation for Sarah Michelle Gellar's role at this point. Now, I'm excited to see what Peter brings to the table. I'm sure they gave him a really, really meaty role for this
Yes.
season, and they also kind of have to, because we've talked about this. It's not like the original Dexter and or New Blood ended in this great way where people were so excited. They need something big to convince people to come back in and watch the show. And I think that's probably where they were like, okay, what's one of the other most successful TV shows of all time? Let's just get one of everybody's favorite actors from that and put them on this show.
Okay, so what I do not want to see happen is sort of this like Avengers assembling, and we're just going to have like a whole
I
bunch
know.
of killers working together. And I'm hoping that that's not where they're going with it. So if Prater ends up getting killed at the end, that it's not like a little bit from this guy, a little bit from her, a little bit from Dexter. It just either needs to be like Prater and Dexter together, or one of the other killers and Prater together, and then they go off, and now Dexter's chasing them.
Yeah, I could see it being Dexter ends up chasing them. Like, my sort of overall tinfoil hat for this season is that Dexter is going to at first be around these people, and maybe he'll even be excited for a split second, because it's like, okay, here are some other people who really understand me. But we know from Dexter already, and Harry's going to be back with the big role this season. He's
Mhm.
got a code. Like, he's going to be like, yeah, I kill, but I'm not like these other people. I'm a good one. I'm a
Right.
good bad guy. And so I can see him sort of rationalize that, and that potentially bringing about the end of whatever Prater is formulating.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he's been around other killers before that just kill as they want to kill. There is no code for anybody else. So it's going to be interesting to see him being brought in by Prater. What Prater's actual motivation is the biggest thing. He likes to own things, collect killers. Is
Yeah.
that what it is? Or is he getting them to basically perform for him and bring in kills for him? Like, what is this? Is this performance? Does he want to be part of this? He wants to be trained to be part of this. I think a lot of that is going to then sit with Dexter and his motivation of, you know what? Okay, I've heard what you have to say. It's okay to be around these other killers for a bit, but this isn't my scene. Like, I'm not really down with this the way I hoped.
this going to be like Shark Tank? And he's just going to look at them and be like, yeah, I'm not a killer like you. And for that reason, I'm out.
That's
And
right.
he's just going to walk away. No, but that is where we are with Peter Dinklage on Dexter Resurrection. But what do you guys think about Leon Prater on paper? Like, what's your expectation? Do you think that we could be primed for another Trinity level big bad? Let us know in the comments. And of course, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more Dexter Resurrection coverage, and support us further by joining our Patreon. That link is in the description. We're covering there exclusively Murderbot and Criminal Minds Evolution. Thank you so much. We'll see you here next time.